Good afternoon to you. Mark Sudduth, HurricaneTrack.com with your Hurricane Pro in HD video blog for the 26th of May 2016. Quite a bit to talk about today, so let's jump right into it. Looking at area Invest 91L. That's basically the Hurricane Center's way of designating this more than just an area of disturbed weather. It's kind of like the first step in the process if something's going to go on to develop. And we are up to 91. They use the numbers 90 through 99, and then they start over again each season. And there's lots and lots of these in most of your average seasons. By the way, Invest 90L, L is for Atlantic, was back in January with Hurricane Alex, believe it or not. So here we are at 91L, updated just a little while ago. 60% chance of development in the short term, 48 hours, and over 5 days, only 70% chance. I say only, as that number really hasn't gone up too much over the last day or so. Still a high chance, but it's not like it's 90 or 100, right? So there's still some question as to whether or not this will develop. Here it is on the visible satellite image, still kind of spread out. Upper level wind still screaming across the top of it. I'll show you a better depiction of that in a moment. But the low level convergence and the spin is starting to accelerate with this system as it tries to consolidate over fairly warm water of the southwest Atlantic. And that area is the breeding ground. It seems like this is a nice graphic that I found on Twitter. All the different storms that have formed off the southeast coast and the southwest Atlantic over the last several years. So it's not without precedence that this area right through here is sort of the hot spot this time of year, or one of them. We also see development in the Northwest Caribbean and in the Gulf. But over the last few years anyway, it's been basically in this region for the most part. So this map shows us vorticity or spin in the atmosphere. And here is our system here to the north of Hispaniola and to the east, northeast of the Bahamas, well to the southwest of Bermuda there. Basically, we're looking for roundness in the atmosphere when looking at things in the tropics. If it's got a lot of spread out energy like we see down here, for example, or along the intertropical convergence zone in the southeast Pacific, that says that, well, this energy here is spread out over a large area, whereas this energy is trying to focus in one smaller area, and we can see that again on the visible satellite shot. This is what it looks like in real life, so to speak, from a satellite animation perspective. Now, over the top of this system, there is still an abundance of upper-level winds cutting over it. Still pretty strong, 20, 30, 40 knots in some cases. But to the west of this region, the winds are supposed to relax. And we can see that on the shear tendency graphic. These graphics, by the way, coming from the University of Wisconsin, the Cooperative Institute for Meteorological Satellite Studies at the University of Wisconsin. And what a bunch of great tools, I tell you. So this system should move into the area of lighter and decreasing shear over the next few days, and we can see that reflected in the shear forecast here from the SHIPS model output, the different parameters that shape the statistical hurricane and intensity prediction scheme, or SHIPS. There you go, intensity forecast. Look right here, 38 knots of shear today, and over the several days ahead, up to 60 hours, dropping down to just a mere 4 knots of shear. So it does have potential to develop. Waters are warm, especially to the north and west of the system. This is the Gulf Stream in here, where water temperatures are 80 to 81 degrees. And this is a nice high-resolution graphic showing that Gulf Stream. If the system moves into the region and stays intact and tries to develop, there is an opportunity for some modest strengthening here in the Gulf Stream. But then you have the shelf water 50 to 75 miles offshore, maybe a little more in some areas, and less in others where the water temperatures are only in the low to mid 70s. Not quite warm enough, not a lot of upper ocean heat content to take advantage of. So the worst case scenario that I'm seeing right now for parts of the Carolinas especially, I don't think this is too much of a deal for Florida or Georgia, but the main issues would be up here along the Carolina coast, onshore wind, and so you're going to have the increased swells and rip current threats perhaps. Any rain squalls that come in could obviously be a problem. But other than that, a nuisance system, common sense prevails. Don't go in the water if it's too rough. Any thunderstorms that develop, stay indoors if there's lightning, etc. But we're not looking at a major threat to life and property. I think that's obvious, but I just wanted to point it out because you never know. You might see somewhere that this could become this or could become that. And right now, I'm just showing you the facts, and they don't support much more than a novelty, pain in the neck event for Memorial Day weekend, for goodness sakes. We don't need this, but there it is. Pay attention. We'll be putting updates here in the app, Hurricane Pro, and the other app, of course, Hurricane HD, for you to track along and see what's happening with all the tools that are in those apps, and, of course, with these video blogs. All right? And I'll also be doing a discussion tomorrow on the official NOAA hurricane forecast coming out tomorrow morning for the season ahead, what their thoughts are, the probabilities of different scenarios happening, and things of that nature. So busy day tomorrow for sure. All right, well, thanks for tuning in. As always, I am Mark Sudduth for HurricaneTrack.com and for Hurricane Pro and HD. Have a great rest of your Thursday afternoon, and I'll talk to you again tomorrow.